everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm Lucas and welcome back to another League Racing video here on the channel. And today we have WOR Miami, our last to first challenge, albeit I'm in P19. Let's just get into it. Here we are, off the line. Thomas actually jumped the start, so that's why he got, the greatest start ever seen to mankind, albeit with a drive-through. We're going round the outside of turn 1, and we have a look round the outside, trying to slot in, but Thomas just, I guess, loses it and sort of drives us off the road. So yeah, not a great start to this race. We are now plumb last, so yeah, not able to make up positions, but we're going to go round the outside now of Fabrizio Donoso and the Aston, and now trying to just sort of slot ourselves in here as we sort of negotiate our way through the first sector for the first of 29 times. And yeah, we went a bit, I guess, different to everybody else in this race, in the fact that you'll notice that our top speed was not very good whatsoever. We went for a bit of a different sort of style, I guess, compared to everybody, which was, I guess, one of those races where you could try some things. So thought we'd roll the dice. Yeah, and then this chicane was just like a bus stop. It was like, everyone stopped starting, nearly running into the back of Nico, but thankfully getting it stopped. And yeah, you can see, using a bit of energy now. And yeah, you can just see ahead how much quicker the other cars were on the straight with us not burning the energy as we come into the final hairpin now into the braking zone. But Thomas actually completely misses his braking point and drives into the hairpin and then cuts across as trying to get into the pit lane. Man. So yeah, back to last position we must go. So yeah, not a very good start to this last to first challenge type thing. But nonetheless, we are going to get ourselves into the rhythm. We know that this race is going to be decided in the latter parts. But yeah, we need to sort of just get into the rhythm. Try and not use ERS if we can. But when we're down when we're down so much top speed, it's really tricky. As we go up the inside now of Fab, who leaves us enough room, thankfully. But yeah, he just drives away from us on the corner exit with him using energy and with just how much more top speed they had. We were very heavy on the wing by the looks of it compared to everybody. I mean, I don't even need to say that. You can physically see it. And without us using battery, we always fell back in the straight. But we were very, very quick overall in the corners, and I think the pace was good. But ultimately, when you're in a train, you can't, in a train like this even, you can't really use that pace in the corners because you're all sort of jammed up. And then on the straights you get left for dead. So it was a tricky one to manage in the first stint. As now we have our teammate Danny ahead of us, going through these high speed sweepers in sector 1. As I believe, Danny gets slightly caught out there by Fabrizio ahead of us. With the way the sort of pack Constantino's up a little bit. As we skip onto lap 5 now. We have Jarek Smith going for a spin, I believe, into turn 1. I'm not sure if he get tagged or something into T1, but yeah. Spinning round into T1, giving us a free position. And if you look ahead, loads of cars going side by side, and at this point I thought we were going to have multiple cars sideways on the straight. There's a front wing flying everywhere, and a virtual safety car has been deployed. And that opens up all sorts when it comes to the strategic play in this race. I believe Jarno and Luke Smith decided to box under that VSC, which was certainly a big risk to see if it would pay off, but ultimately the train was going so slow in terms of its overall pace that I guess that would allow them to come back into it, as we managed to get a free position on Fabrizio as he went a little bit wide into the final hairpin. So that's us up onto P12 now. And yeah, it was really, really stop-start as more cars go for a spin. Now we have Esteban Pucci round in that hairpin, and now we have Philip Prejnado ahead of us, so we're going to get the ERS on. We're going to try and go for the move. We get beached on the curb though. We nearly make contact with Philip. Thankfully, he moved left to give us a little bit of room there because, we get beached on the curb, but just with the way the curb is at that corner, it sort of flattens out right at the end, and we got beached, so that was really scary. But yeah, a few cars boxing now at the end of that lap there. Fabrizio now actually deciding to come back at us, and as you can see, our ERS is really low. Not necessarily because we were using lots, but also because we didn't regenerate energy almost at all. To try and bring the battery back up was really, really tricky, and I always had to use it bit by bit like this to try and make overtakes, but also to defend from much faster cars on the straight behind. And yeah, in this first stint, it was just really hard to utilise pace because we were quick in the corners, but we couldn't go quick in the corners. And yeah, we were just constantly in a defensive battle. As now Duncan Hoffland is round in this hairpin. I don't know what it is with this final sort of section, but it's all kicking off as we head into lap 13 of this race. We have Fabrizio right behind us, not going for the move on this attempt. But yeah, we're into P7 without things have all kicked up. But now, because of just how slow the train was actually going, anyone that pitted under that VSC managed to catch up, because they probably caught up at like a second or two a lap. I mean, I haven't actually checked, but it would not surprise me to see that's how quickly they caught, because the pace was just so... We were all just sort of jammed up, and it just allowed those with the better tyres to come back through again. So it was a bizarre situation. Not something that you see often, just, yeah, very unusual. As we also have Jarno as well, doing the same thing as Luke Smith with the VSC behind us. And yeah, we're just sort of trying to be patient, not lose time where we don't need to. We could have went for a lot more overtakes in this first stint, but again, I didn't think it would be worth it a lot of the time due to the fact that we were just slower on the straight, and the chance of us getting re-overtaken was really high, as Jarno is now approaching us. And I don't put up a fight here. I see he looks for the inside. I opt to just completely bail it. I didn't even like put up a fight whatsoever. Bailed at the move. Yeah, because he's ultimately a lot quicker at this point in the race. And yeah, I want to just try and focus on, yeah, the latter part of this race if we can, as he goes now for a move on Nicholas Longate up the inside into turn 1, as we are actually P9 in this train. So it's not going too terribly. And yeah, we were really, really quick in the contest. As you can see, so we are now actually going to go for a move up the inside of Nicholas, going round this long, long left hand at the end of sector 1. And that is that move all done. But as you're about to see, if I don't use ERS and the other cars do, it's no chance. So yeah, that's pretty much exactly why I didn't go for many, many moves in this first stint. When I didn't feel it was going to stick. I tried it there, it didn't work. And yeah, now you're going to see the exact same thing. Fabrizio now, in the DRS train, flying past us. Ultimately, we just weren't able to regenerate the energy, which was the biggest problem. We just didn't have ERS. We had, I think, great open air pace, but yeah, that's where the second stint of this race was going to come in. We weren't really relying on the pace we had in the train. We were relying on, yeah, sort of a bit thinking further down the line. That was what was going to bring us into it in this race now, is Nico and Fab now have boxed, and we have decided to go long. Just judging by the nature of how the train kept, bunching everybody up and losing pace, so we decided to go long by an extra 2 laps compared to some of those cars around us. Jarno stays out more, I mean, which makes sense for him because he's still probably had decent pace at this point. He was on still pretty good medium, whereas we were on the hards from the beginning. So we opt to box at the end of lap 18, and we're going to be going on to a fresh set of the medium tyre. And if you can look at the minimap as well, the train is still super compressed, so those who boxed earlier than us didn't get as far up the road as maybe they would have, let's say. So coming out of the pit lane now, Fabrizio Donoso actually right there, albeit he boxed 2 laps before us. Such is the situation of just being boxed in so by this train, as Jed lets us go and Thomas peels off the road there as well. I believe just sort of sorting themselves out of the way. And yeah, this is where the comeback drive begins in a way. So here we are now, lap 19. Duncan Hoffland going up the inside into the last chicane. You know, nice and easy. And yeah, now we've got to just try and pick our way through as much as we can. We don't have much ERS to play with, but a lot of the cars ahead of us were actually even less than us, as we set the fastest lap of the race now on lap 20, heading through the first corner now. Jarno has now boxed, and yeah, a lot of cars fighting ahead of us. They go 3 wide through the apex. Somehow they don't crash there. I was actually convinced I was going to see a front wing flying as Tamascal bails out the way. But here we are now. Fabrizio Donoso going up the inside of Joni Tormola, as we have Valentin Buffer up you know, in the inside. So we're going to go for the gap on the inside, double overtake up the inside, going into the braking zone. We brake relatively cautiously. Now we're side by side with the Audi Terminal. We're going to go round the outside now, you know, utilising our grip. And yeah, nicely done, I guess. Just up into P9 now, as we have Esteban Piquet and Fabrizio Donoso ahead of us now, next up. And yeah, as you can see, one overtake and our ERS is already down down the drain. But the key for us is our pace was really strong, cutting through here. So that's what we were sort of relying on, was sort of the open air pace to pull us through, even if, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle with the energy side of things. As yeah, we go up the inside now of Esteban, and we also have yeah, a few cars with penalties actually ahead of us. But yeah, on lap 23 now, we're on the back of Fabrizio Donoso. He's flashing with energy, and yeah, we're right on the back of him now. But as you can see, even without using energy, I don't even know if we do use energy here, but without using energy, we're gaining so little. We actually do have to use energy here, and yeah, we have to be really late, but we get the move done on the brakes, thankfully. But yeah, we definitely were very aggressive on the downforce compared to a lot of other people. As yeah, Declan Barrett now ahead of us. I guess I don't know if he was pulling over to let us pass, but I don't think he realised how slow we were on the straight, as we then yeah, dive nice and late on the brakes, get up the inside, and that is us up into P6 with the leaders in sight, crucially. And yeah, here we are now making the move on Nicholas, who doesn't have DRS, but we're barely gaining even with the DRS. That's just crazy to think about. But we're now in the top 5, and we have the top 4 cars ahead of us, and it's time to take some risks. We're going to dive all the way up the inside. We get it stopped on the apex. Shinaka leaves us just enough room, and we made that move from like 40 metres back. And yeah, Shinaka has a little look at us again going onto this main start finish straight, and I'm actually going to show you the outboard camera, because I know a lot of you have probably already rushed to the comment section, just to sort of give you the third person angles of it. And as you can see, we are literally squarely on the apex. Yeah, I didn't carry too much speed into the corner. I had it stopped, and yeah, I believe that move was yeah, very fair, because I certainly could have went, you know, I could have overshot the corner, I could have, you know, railed Shinaka completely off to the right hand side. But yeah, big props to Shinaka for leaving the room in the end. Yeah, that was a very late on the brakes, but we managed to get it done, as we wanted to try and, you know, get a move on. As yet, now we have Piotr ahead of us now, on I think a lot older hard tyres, so we're just going to brake really late, go up the inside with just, you know, way more grip. As we also have Jarno now on the back of us, who had a lot more energy and 2 lap fresher tyres as well, but ultimately was just able to cut through the field really nicely as well. And yeah, at this point I was thinking, well, in my head the thing that I thought immediately was, well, it's most likely Jarno's going to win this, just with the... Yeah, he had, I think, 50% energy. As on the base, Otis broke so early there, which I was not expecting. Yeah, nearly took us both out the race. I could have actually, realistically, I actually could have made the move up the inside there, but I thought, you know, I'm not going to be stupid and, you know, risk taking us out the race. I didn't think that would have been, you know, very smart. But yeah, that was super sketchy and super scary. Yep. But yeah, Jarno had, I believe, 50% energy, whereas we had nothing, because we constantly had to use it. In fact, the cars ahead of us, actually, with Luke Smith and Otis, I think probably had near to full batteries, I'd imagine, because they were able just to constantly use energy in these final laps, whereas we had absolutely nothing. And yeah, Jarno just flying past us, nothing we can do to defend it. And yeah, ultimately, yeah, not really much we were able to do in this fight, apart from hope that, you know, an opportunity in the corners arises for us, because on the straights we're just getting constantly left for dead. But, you know, still in P4 and still in the fight in the tail end of this race. We are on the last lap of the race with a little bit of a cheeky drift through turn 1 there. And yeah, we are, you know, still well within this. If anything, you know, gets a bit hectic and battles start to kick off, so we're going to keep in it right to the end. You never know what happens in these races, so yeah, keeping it close, running it all the way through this first sector.
38
probably. And yeah, you can hear there on the radio, Jarno with 38% battery, and you're going to see the effect of that now. We are blasting whatever we have left of the battery, and we didn't have great top speed to begin with, but yeah, all the cars ahead of us blasting whatever battery they had. We had nothing. They are 3 wide into this braking zone. Somehow managed to make it fit. So fair enough to the fact that, you know, they never came together. That was some, you know, good racing there. As Luke Smith and Jarno are still side by side into the bus stop, so we have to bail out of that. You know, making sure we don't take off our front wing as we go through, you know, this slow speed sort of Mickey Mouse section for the final time in this race. And we get a decent sort of exit, but again, no energy whatsoever. All the cars ahead still have energy. I mean, they're just blasting it. Only now are they running out of energy as Jarno now side by side with Luke Smith going into the last corner. We need them to, you know, have something go wrong for us to get in the mix. Otis goes to the switchback, but ultimately it's not going to be enough, as Jarno will take the win in this one. And yeah, we managed to go P19 to P4, which was not too bad. I think we did a pretty solid job. Our pace was really good. Maybe a bit too slow in the straights, but ultimately it was a bit of hindsight, because I don't think any of us expected the train in the first stint to be sort of like so compressed and sort of everything bunched up. But yeah, not a bad drive at all. Was really good fun. Some good sends in there. Yeah, it was a fun one. It's always fun to, you know, try and battle your way through. So yeah, really enjoyed that race, and I hope you guys did as well watching. So yeah, hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well on what you thought. And yeah, without further ado, I believe we will be ending this one out. So yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I love you guys, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.